Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dave Roberts. I am the Director of Capital Projects and Campus Development here at Woodland Pond. And today is Friday. What is it? It's the 16th of January, 26. This is my weekly update on everything to do with the expansion project. So you can see things are starting to move inside this week in a big way. And we're going to see that definitely next week as well. So a little bit on that in a minute. I do want to let you know that in not this Monday, but Monday the 26th, this is kind of it's going to be a disruption for everyone. So I really want to lead with this item, and that is that the exit door by the library. Uh, so it's actually in the health centre, but it's the one that everyone kind of calls the library door. And it's the exit to the outside to the parking lot. That's going to be closed from Monday the 26th for 4 weeks, no more than 4 weeks. And I know this is going to be disruptive to a number of you, but it's unavoidable, unfortunately. We tried to avoid it by putting shoring, additional shoring in that location. But at the end of the day, the new Performing Arts Centre really comes hard up against that sidewalk there. And so we need to remove that sidewalk in order to excavate for the new foundation and footings in that location. They go down a long way. They go down 12 feet. So unavoidable, as I say. What we did was pushed it back a little bit so we can give you more notice. And towards that end, and I'll talk more about this next week with a plan, but we do have a safety plan in place for that. There will be part of that safety plan is that if is an emergency, a staff member any day or any time of the day or night will be in that location to direct residents to safety. But and you know that we don't usually default. Our default in an emergency is to stay in place until you hear instructions. But if you do need to evacuate, the plan is to evacuate to IL. There are fire doors right at that wall between the health centre and IL. And so that means that you can have a safe refuge on the other side of those fire doors in the event of a fire. But once again, our default at Woodland Pond is to remain in place unless you get instructions to do otherwise. So we have a safety plan to make sure that we have a safe exit in if there is an emergency. But I think the biggest thing there that people will be dealing with is getting access to the car park, and that will have to be done through the community building entrance. So a 4 week disruption. We're going to make sure that it doesn't go any longer than that, but that's kind of the top line item. I'm just announcing it today. Next week on Friday, we'll go through it in more detail just so that you have a thorough understanding of it. But the main thing is that you won't be able to go out of that door for 4 weeks, and you'll have to use the main entrance. So just to kind of look at a few things that are happening in the next few weeks here, or the next couple of weeks. What you're going to see out in admin, we got this Tuesday, we got the new grease trap tied in, and so that's great news because they can start backfilling and taking out the old grease trap out of there, and then they can start the excavation for the new footings for the admin addition. So that'll be next week. You'll start to see some, additional excavation out there, and they'll pour the footing in admin, and then the following week they'll start the foundation for they'll start the forming for the foundation walls. In wellness, Next week, what you'll see is, there'll be inspections for the sanitary pipe that went in this week. I'll show you some photos of that. Next week, we really hope to pour the slab in Wellness. So that's going to be exciting because then, of course, we'll start to see some interior framing there, and that will continue the following week. So we'll actually start to see the building come out of the ground in Wellness. In the Performing Arts Centre, we will continue the excavation out there, quite a lot of excavation out there for the footings. And then you'll start to see some of the foundations being formed as well. The with the interior work, what we'll see is, well, you actually can't see this, but you'll see sheetrocking and taping of walls for the bank and the mailroom. But then the big change there too is in the new gym or yoga room, and you'll start to see demo. Actually, they started demo today in what used to be the pack. Gets a little confusing thinking about rooms as their past use as opposed to their new use. But so what used to be the pack, they started demo in there today, and that'll continue next week. Next week there may be some noise. It's mainly sort of sledgehammer noise, demolishing the walls, and then that'll continue into the following week. And the following week they'll actually start framing in the in the new gym. I'm going to start calling it a gym now because that's what it's going to be. So that gives you an idea of what's going to happen in the next couple weeks. As I say, a little more action inside. The pool obviously closes. They start work on the swimming pool on the 26th of January. Next week is the last week of use for the new pool, for the existing pool. I'm sorry, for the swimming pool, it's offline for 12 weeks while they do the renovation in there. And so I think all the swimming pool users are, being brought up to speed with that. I do hope that if it works for you, you'll be able to take advantage of the SUNY New Paltz pool while our swimming pool is offline. I'm going to share my screen with you now just to show you some images that we have. And I think these are really interesting. So let's just look here. These are some drone shots that Wolfson had done during the week. And this is actually, so this building here this is the swimming pool. So this is this box here, this rectangle, that's the new grease trap. And you can see the lines coming in from the building and tying into the new manhole will happen here. And this is the site office here. They actually had to move that out of the way. So pretty interesting looking at it from above. This is the Wellness Edition. You can see it's tilted so as to take in the view of the Schwangunk there. And that's coming along nicely. And another one here. You can see the Wellness Edition from the air. And this is the pack. If you've been past the library and so on, you will have seen this huge hole there, big mountain of fill. And that's going to be moved around in the next week while they start to excavate for the footings. Well, empty parking lot that will soon be filled with lots of construction equipment. So I thought these were kind of interesting. You can see this is the swimming pool there in the side office, and now this is getting filled back in because we have linked this up to the kitchen. That went really, really smoothly. The tie-in for the kitchen to the grease trap. I think the kitchen was only offline for 30 minutes while they tied that in, and it just meant that they couldn't use water during that time. And I'll show you some construction photos here from this past few days. Let's see, what am I going to show you? This is just, before they can pour the slab, this is in the wellness area. They have to run all the pipes for bathrooms and vent pipes and so on. So they've got to make sure they're all in the right place, all the waste lines. And so that's what's happening there. These are actually all done now in readiness for the slab to be poured next week. This is more of the wellness footings and so on. And there you can see, once again, this is where coordination is really important because electrical conduit and waste lines have to be located when they do that pour so that when they come back and to lay the waste lines, they're all in the right place. But we're in pretty good shape. This is where they did the saw cutting for the salon, and that's actually all been filled back in now. So lots of good progress throughout the site. And I'll just show you, well, let's see, I wanted to show you a little bit of the, oh, actually, this is a good reminder. The exit through fitness, they now have a path there to make it a little safer for that emergency exit. So that's a good thing too. That means that if there is an emergency, you can get out of this easy. When you see those manhole covers in the road, I mean, this is what it's covering over. It's covering over a big concrete chamber with a lid, and for access. And these are spread out throughout the whole property in different places where we need to have access in the future. All right, so that's pretty much it. But like I say, the tie-in went really, really well last week for the grease trap, and so that was great news. Question came up from people who are residents who are using the basement, and it was about egress, emergency egress from the basement. Once again, our default is for you to remain in place until you get instructions. Otherwise, the specific concern was about the flex spaces, and you're probably aware there are double doors, once again, adjacent to the flex space between, you actually pass through them. If you go down the elevator and go to the flex space, you'll pass through those double doors. They're fire doors, and they have a long rating so that if there is a fire, they will close, and you're in a different building, depending on whether you're on one side of those fire doors or the other side of the fire doors. And so if you're in the flex space and the fire alarm goes off, you remain in place. If, and this is a rare, very rare need to evacuate, if you needed to evacuate from the IL building, you'd pass through those doors and then go out to the loading bay. That would be very, very unusual. It's more likely that you would remain in place and until the danger was cleared. But as I say, if there was a fire or something happening in the health center, you'd actually remain in place in the flex space because those double doors are going to protect you from anything on the other side of them. And then same, if there was actually, say, a fire in independent living, then you would go through those double doors into the health center. And then that separation would separate you from the fire. But once again, our rule at Woodland Pond is that you do not evacuate unless you're instructed to do so. And in that case, the fire department would be here and they would oversee that. So that was a great question that came up for fire egress, and gave me a minute just to kind of think about it. We also got feedback from our architects on that, and they said that the egress in the basement is all safe, it's to code, and there's no cause for concern about using those spaces for meetings and so on during the construction period. Next week, the dining entrance, so what I would call the back entrance of dining, where you would come through from South and Central, that's going to be closed off because we're going to start construction in that area. So I just wanted to give you a heads up. There was some plastic up there temporarily today, but that's been taken down. You'll be able to access it through the weekend. But after Monday, that's going to be closed off. So you're going to have to walk around to the front entrance to dining to access dining. There's going to be no shortcut there for a period of time while we do that construction. So I apologize for that inconvenience, but just wanted to give you a heads up that that's what's happening there. I know we're running a little long today, but I also wanted to tell you that this week we started to have meetings. This is regarding the satellite campus with consultants regarding geothermal for the new expansion, the new buildings there. And what we're doing to start off with, we'll get a feasibility study, and we are interviewing proposals from 3 consultants in order to do that. But I just wanted to let you know that we're pursuing that. We've also allowed for solar on the roof over there, but we are pursuing the feasibility of doing geothermal for heating and cooling energy on the satellite site. Next week, Tuesday, next week, we will be in front of the planning board for the first time. You'll be able to access that. Actually, what we'll do is send out an email with access to video for that. It isn't actually a public hearing, but it will be our opportunity to thoroughly go through all the aspects of the satellite expansion for the planning board application. And so that will include traffic, it will traffic studies, it will include the environmental studies and the civil engineering as well. So it will be an extensive presentation to the planning board about the expansion on the Erman property. And I'm really looking forward to it. It's the culmination of a lot of work. And we'll advise you when the public hearings are going to happen over there in front of the planning board as well. But watch for an email that will have a link to the online link to that video presentation. Hope you have a great weekend. Stay warm. It's getting colder again, but also if you can get outside and stay warm, that's good too. All right.